Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us for today's webinar. My name is Jake Cohen. I am the marketing coordinator here at Network Concepts. Today, we are going to present how a simple tool can get your website to generate more leads. Presenting, I have our CEO, Tyler, our inside sales rep, Dave, and our web technician, Jack. So here's our plan for today. We're going to show you how using chat can drive sales and leads. We're going to show you how to use the basic functions of the chat, and then we're going to take you through an installation demo. So now I'm going to turn it over to Tyler, who's going to give us a basic overview.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Tyler Pritchard of Network Concepts. We specialize in helping clients with security, networking, remote access, as well as e-business and website development. I want to thank everybody for coming to this webinar. We kind of threw it together in the last couple weeks to address this issue because we had so many questions coming in, and we're not going to have time to cover this in depth as much as I'd like to next week. But before we get rolling, there's some people on the webinar that we really don't know, so I want to introduce Network Concepts really quickly. We were founded in 2004 as a complete IT solution provider, so we've been around for a while. And the reason I think we've been around for a while is we really specialize in small to mid-sized businesses. We don't work with the larger businesses. We don't even take their calls in as far as migrations and questions that are asked. We also have a deep understanding of IT networks. We're not a company, we're not an accounting firm that does IT. We're not a couple guys sitting in the back room of their house selling IT services overseas. We're really here. You can come visit us. We do IT networks. And we try to build value into everything we do, up to and including this webinar today. That was a big request from a lot of you guys that said, hey, I don't have time for meetings, I can't come to lunch and learns, what can you do? So we started doing webinars. And for us to be able to do webinars, we also allowed our client base now to come in to the Hatfield location, and they can do their own webinars for training of their staff. To summarize it up, we focus on your IT so you can focus on your business. We can help you out a little bit, or we can help you out a lot, and we have the staff here to do it. So why we're here today, we get a lot of questions on this real-time chatting and does it work? Because some of you guys know we use it and we've been using it for a while. Managed customers know that the techs use it for support. Some of you guys that have been to some of our websites, you know for a while we've been using it to different degrees and different clients. Since we can't go into this a lot next week, we're going to brush over it. We wanted to do like a deep dive webinar on this. And we're going to replay this webinar, and we'll send you a link to it. So you can look at it after next week if you're coming, or you can look at it, on demand. But the first thing we need to go over is the real-time chatting stuff is we have to set proper expectations, like what your website can and can't do. The other thing we have to do is we have to clear up some myths about this. You guys, everybody that goes on the internet knows this is all over the place. We got started a little bit early, but to make this successful for you guys, we have to hit two critical functions that you have to get right in order to make this worth your while. All right. The two critical parts of generating good, solid leads online, number one is to drive the traffic. I'm going to get into this a little bit so you guys know what to do. So you're driving all this traffic there through all these different mediums, whether it's SEO, social media, pay-per-click, or whatever. Once they're at your website, here you got the question is, okay, I spent all this marketing money. How do I convert the traffic? We do that now with customers through websites, landing pages, and now we're going to go over the online chat. Once that's done, obviously this is like a three-legged stool, so I had to add this in. Once you've converted the traffic, then you have to work on maximizing the relationship. But look, today we're just going to work on converting and how can I do it, and is this worth my time? Email drip marketing is converting. But before we get started, I know you guys hear me say this all the time. I say this about everything in technology. Before you change your website, this goes for networks too, set up tracking first. The reason that I always say that is because when you're making changes to stuff, you don't know if you're making it better or worse unless you have some kind of baseline. That's my little disclaimer for today, and anybody that knows me, they know I say the same thing, because I don't want you guys leaving here today and deciding, hey, I did all this stuff, and then next thing you know, your website's not converting or converting worse. But let's get started. All right, what do I mean by the right traffic? Oops, I want to jump ahead of myself a little bit there. The number one is a person or prospect that you want as a customer. So if you don't want them as a customer, they're not the right traffic. Number two is you have to find someone that's actually looking to buy. So the right traffic, you don't want to spend a lot of time and money on the wrong leads. I mean, and that's really what it comes down to in internet marketing. The old days of the yellow pages, they're gone. This has become a real kind of a game now with a lot of steps involved. So here's the top ways to drive the traffic to your website. Now, this is what we do, and there's a much longer list than this. And I think a lot of you guys do the same thing. There's offline marketing, which is networking events, expos, canvassing, direct mail, all that kind of stuff that's very time consuming. There's joint venture marketing, which has become very popular now. We do a lot of that with our vendors. We also are going to start to partner with some customers this year to do joint venture. This is a big one, local search and natural SEO. This is to drive stuff to your website. We're in a global economy now. You've got to work on that. Writing articles and online publications has become very popular for driving traffic. We dabble a little bit in that. We're starting to this year. Speaking engagements are another way. Blogs and email marketing, which has been around for a long time. I actually feel, and I know I've said this before, but I feel like blogs and email marketing are so overused that they're not even a good way to drive traffic anymore. Of course, we have social media, which is really hot right now. There's whole companies that are forming just to get hashtags trending, and they're charging a huge amount of money to the Fortune 500s. That we're never going to get to that scale, but that's an important way to get your name out there. And then at the end of our list is the AdWords and other pay-per-click advertising, which is very, very expensive. I mean, we got so deep into that, and I'm going to talk about that next week, that we were spending $4,000 to $5,000 a month. And this isn't an all-inclusive list. I mean, you have press releases, radio, TV, newspapers, telemarketing. So this is all the time and money you're spending into driving traffic, hopefully, to your website. So why is your website so critical? So before buying any product or services, what's the first thing that everybody does today is they go to your company's website. I mean, the mobile phone stuff is through the roof. We're seeing it nonstop. 93% of buyers start online before they call you. And there was a Forbes study that revealed that 60 to 70% of the buyer's journey is completed before the salesperson is ever contacted. So now you're looking at a totally different world from where it was 10 years ago. Consumers or potential leads or whatever you want to call them are able to look into your company a lot more before they even decide if they're going to call you. So that being said, first impressions are very important, especially if you're in a competitive market. You have to look good. Your first impression is your last impression, or whatever that saying goes. So this is where it becomes very important, back to the local search. You want to be available and local in this global economy, because right now that's what people are really looking for. And whether it's fair or not, clients are expect you to have a great website. I mean, that's really what it's coming down to, is that you have a really great online presence. So basically, we've gone through all that. We've said, okay, we're spending a ton of money. I'm approaching this from the administration point of view. I've spent all this money. Now, what do I do? I'm going to go over our company. I'm not going to talk about customers. I'm not going to talk about anybody else. I'm just going to talk about us here. Here, we spend all the same amount of money that you guys spend. We are techs, so we naturally have to monitor this stuff and tweak with it because that's our nature. So what we found is 70% of our traffic, and we have quite a few sites. I think we have 5 really active sites when you go onto the main site as of last year. But 70% of that traffic doesn't fit our bill. And the reason that we know this, and it's pretty easy, is over 50% of our visitors are competitors. When you work in this field, we're all kind of spying on each other to see what we're doing. So that really leaves us with 50% left. And then you've got a huge portion of that 50% that are existing customers that are just looking for a phone number or looking for this or that, or they clicked on a link. So that takes us down to 30% of our site visitors, are, yeah, we should look at them. What that equaled out for us, then we get a lot more traffic than that, but of that 30%, when we take out all the Russians and all the bots and all the other stuff, when we drilled really down deep into it, there's about 60 to 80 people a week that we have to talk to, and we're not getting the opportunity to do that. So back in 2015, it was Q3 2015 when we started this, we sat down and we were actually talking to other people, and we knew about the web chat because you guys were asking us about it in 2015, and we started to implement this. We really, we started out with a company called Zopum, which we're not going to talk about today, which really opened our eyes to the power of this tool. So right now, instead of sending a sales guy out to have lunch and do this, that, and the other thing, to try to talk to 60 or 80 people, now we're able to at least attempt to talk to them. And the lessons that we learned, just so you don't have to learn the same ones, is when we first started, we were very unpersonal in the chat, so that helps a lot. The other thing is wait 10 to 15 seconds before you start the chat. We all go on websites now. You guys are all seeing all these chat things. I can tell you for a fact, if you start chatting with somebody when they first log onto your site, you're going to scare the heck out of them, and they're going to back off. Or at least in our case, that's what they did. The one thing that I thought was really cool when we first started this, you can watch your competitors browse your site if you set it up correctly, and there's tons of different chat programs. It depends on your budget. When we started into this, of course, we got all the bells and whistles, and and we've stripped it down a little bit over cost, but you can watch what everybody's doing, where they're going, depending on the amount of time and money you want to put into this. But ultimately, your goal, what we've learned, don't try to sell anything. Just try to move the conversation to get the contact information and then get back to them. Right now, I'm going to turn it over to Dave, because Dave is a guy that's doing a lot of the boots on the ground, walking around. So he's really a guy that knows how much time it takes to talk to 60 or 80 people. So Dave's going to take it over from here, but I'm going to be back at the end to answer any questions, and we're going to try to keep this short, but I will hang around at the end, and so will the other guys, to answer questions so you guys can get back to work. Here you go, Dave.
Okay, thank you, Tyler, and hello, everybody. I'll be discussing how WordPress live chat support can be utilized as a sales tool to engage customers, convert sales directly over your website, and also its convenience as an emerging and growing tool for support. The live chat plugin gives you the ability to initiate chat with potential clients and/or website visitors when they are ready to do so. You can initiate a live chat with a certain visitor or wait for them to initiate a chat with you. Live chat support representatives have the internet and instant messaging at their fingertips. This ability to assist and engage website visitors right then and there lowers the barrier to first contact with prospective clients. A personalized service experience isn't just good for improving the relationship with the visitor, it also helps cut down on time the visitor has to spend calling in, explaining their issue, what services they are looking for, and what they're interested in buying. From our experiences, we find that visitors appreciate a real person from our staff engaging and helping them versus a robot, like Tyler said, or an automated message that looks like an ad pop-up or a scam. Further, it also builds the credibility and trust factors, which are both essential in acquiring prospective clients. This ability to present yourself as a trusted advisor certainly adds to the credibility and trust factors. It costs visitors absolutely nothing to use the chat, except maybe an email address. Additionally, administrators have the ability to transfer a visitor to a different department if necessary. As with other forms of live customer engagement, chat offers businesses the opportunity to actively upsell or cross-sell customers. Since you will have the insights into what they've been doing on your site, there's no need to wait until the purchase goes through and a follow-up email is sent. You can offer a relevant upsell opportunity right then and there. Faster support for visitors means less time they have to wait on hold for an operator and wonder if their time would be better spent going to your competitor's site. It also means quicker service turnarounds for your team, greater efficiency, and less time both parties have to spend playing phone tag or writing email responses. If you are currently offline or away from your desktop or device, a visitor can still message in and you'll be able to see and respond to their message when you return. Sometimes you just won't be able to convert a visitor for whatever the reason. They might not be at a point where they are ready to make a purchase. Perhaps they're just price shopping, doing research for an in-person shopping trip, or they might just change their mind. But that doesn't mean you still can't turn them into a future lead. If they aren't ready to buy that day, perhaps you can go back to them in a month. You can pick up where you left off with them at a later date. Since all your correspondence and communications with the prospect is saved and stored. As stated earlier, live chat is an easy-to-implement tool to integrate with your current system of customer service and inside sales support. From our experience in the IT managed service industry, understanding the pain points of your customers first will help you best serve their needs. So chat is a good way to document, organize, and follow up on the needs of our web visitors in the form of prospects and customers. Overall, live chat isn't just a customer service phase, it's an essential cornerstone and tool that's becoming more popular as time goes on. By making this simple update to your website, you can boost your company's reputation as the attentive and forward-thinking company that it is with excellent customer support. A quality customer experience with live chat will keep your customers happy and returning, which will create more opportunities to generate sales. Next to present is our web technician, Jack, and he'll explain the installation of the chat app.
Thanks, Dave. So hello, everyone. My name's Jack. I'm just going to go through how you can install the WordPress chat feature. Really simple. Where we're going to start is with the plugins section. First, we have to make sure we're logged into your WordPress's backend. We then click the plugins item on the sidebar menu to bring up the plugin section itself. In this section, we will find the Add New button. This is where you go to browse all of the plugins available for WordPress. If you have an iPhone, a little like the App Store. So we're going to do a search for the free version of this plugin. As you see in the picture right here, we enter WP Live Chat Support in the search bar. That's going to bring up the plugin we're looking for. We locate the WP Live Chat Support plugin. In this case, it's the first result with over 200,000 active installs. This is a plugin we really like because it's quick, easy, and cheap. There are other options for chat, especially if you don't have a WordPress site. We develop all our sites in WordPress these days. And for the price point and to get off the ground with chat, WP Live Chat Support is a really, really great option. So, after you're done, call me and I will install the premium version of this plugin for you. The free version does not have all the features, but Network Concepts has already purchased the premium version and will put it on your website. We will accomplish this by uploading the premium extension, installing it, and activating it. You can just contact me. We'll walk you through that a little bit. Once that's done, from here, we enter our API key, and now we're able to use all of the premium features on WP Live Chat Support. Again, we will do the installation of the premium plugin for you. It's a paid plugin, but it's free to you because we have purchased an unlimited license. It's a relatively simple routine install for someone who's experienced in developing sites in WordPress. So we here at Network Concepts will be happy to help you with this if you don't want to do it yourself. If you don't want to install it yourself, it will take about half a day for me to go through it and show you how to use it, customize it for you, etc. That's just an option for you. So with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Tyler, and he's going to wrap up.
All right. So you can see we purchased this. I can see some questions coming through. Just so you guys know, the website chat is not the chat that you guys have for support. That's a very advanced version. This is a very basic version, just because I saw that pop up. But before we get to questions and stuff, anybody that's uncertain or that wants help or doesn't know where they're at, I know everybody's goal at the beginning of the year is to drive sales, make more money. I know that's our goal every year. So if you just don't know where you are or what you want to do, if you go to nciwd.com, which is the web guys in Hatfield, there's a form there. If you fill it out, they will give you a personalized SEO analysis of your site. They'll also give you the Web Marketing Basic Report, which you guys, if your customers, get for free. That contains all the stuff that we think you should have in place, the basic stuff to drive and convert traffic. And like I said, we have a ton of people filling that out. We do a ton of those reports for people, whether you're customers or not, so take advantage of that, because I know there's been talk next quarter because of the time involved that we might not be doing it at the end of this quarter. The other thing is, this was a real quick, kind of put together deep dive into the chat. We're doing our Q1 Business Builder Seminar next week, which is all about websites, and we are only doing 4 business building seminars. After talking to everybody last year, we tried to do once a month. Customers couldn't make it. It was a lot on you guys, and it was a lot on us to do it. So after a lot of feedback from you guys, we decided to just do 4 major subjects that the customers picked. If you can't make it here, last year we also started broadcasting these live over webinars. That's something that we kind of struggled with, but now we're able to do that. So if you can't make it, sign up anyway. You can sit in your office and watch it, and that way you'll still get the recordings. So now that we're done, I already saw a couple questions. Like I said, this is The chat, if you're a customer that you have loaded on your desktop, this is not the same thing. This version that we switched to, we were using a much more advanced version, and we loved it. And the techs use a much more advanced version, but they're two separate products. This version we switched to on the WordPress chat was basically because of price. There are 100 different choices out there, so make sure you pick the one that you like, and Jack and Jake will be able to help you make those choices. We went with this one, and we're able to give it to you because it's a WordPress site. So we bought the whole unlimited version, which is very cheap. You can see the price on there. If you want to buy it yourself, buy it yourself. Unlimited use is $99. Zopum, when we first started, was $300 a year, and that went to $300 a month after they got purchased, and now they started charging more and more and more. So, you know, you really got to hunt these things down for when they're upgraded. I don't know if there's any other questions. I think I addressed those two questions pretty well. And if if you have any more questions, if this is over and you think about it, you can always call any of us. Jake, is there any other questions, or no, just those two? All right, well, like I said, if you think of anything or you want to go into it in more detail, feel free to contact us. And once again, we're going to get into this, the whole big picture that I wasn't able to get into today, about how driving traffic, converting traffic, maximizing the relationships from beginning to end next week here, same day, not the same time, over lunch. So I hope you guys join us, and we'll see you next week. Like I said, we're going to rebroadcast this, and we'll send you a recording. And I told you guys I'd get you out of here quick, and we're going to start to do these webinars more often. Hopefully they're popular. Thank you.